Welcome to Finish First Financially. Goran Radanovic here with another question from Reddit. I'll just read it and give my take on it. Obviously, just something that I would do. Obviously, not financial investment advice. It says, I just spent a third of my emergency fund and I feel disheartened. Any advice? I'm trying to build a 12-month emergency fund. I was 60% there. I just had to spend a third of it on a pet emergency. I know that I used the money appropriately, that I'm glad my pet is okay, but I feel so disheartened because it took me so long to build my emergency fund up to where it was, which wasn't even at my goal amount. I've been dreaming about being able to save up for other things once my e-fund was funded, but now it feels like I'm never going to escape the cycle of just getting my e-fund adequate. Any words of advice? I'm going to say something that most people are not going to like, especially animal lovers, that are very attached to the animals. But I'll start with saying this. First of all, it's a good thing that you had that emergency fund to take care of your pet. Because imagine if you didn't have that money and now your pet got sick. Now you're worried about the pet's well-being and you don't have the money on it. You on top of it, your problems would have just been compounded. So you would have been in a much worse situation. And so I'm sure that, as you mentioned, you're glad that you had the money, that your pet is okay. So that situation was, you were able to take care of it because you had that emergency fund. So look at it from that perspective. Okay, now that I've said that, here's how I feel about this pet story. I would only have a pet if I was debt-free and I had adequate savings as my backup. Now, your goal was to have 12 months worth of emergency fund. I think that's a great goal. That gives you plenty of time to replace your income in case it stops. So I'll definitely aim for 12 months. But you didn't get to that. Yet you had a pet. I would not have a pet in that case because with pets, it's a luxury item. It's a luxury good that you really have. Let's put it that way. Because with pets, you have to feed them, you have to groom them, you have to take care of them. In your situation, something did come up to affect the pet's health, and you had to take care of it. There was a health scare, and these are the types of things that can and do happen, as you've seen yourself. So to avoid having that risk, to avoid having those expenses, I would rule out having a pet as long as I've got debt, as long as I don't have my savings on point. After I've cleared all of my debt, after I've built up my emergency fund, then I could look at having luxury things, things that I love, then I'll get myself a pet. Not before then, because now you're disheartened. And let me say this as well. The whole point of having an emergency fund is to spend it on yourself. If your income stops, if something happens to you where you no longer have money, to use that emergency fund on yourself, not on something else, not on somebody else. Yeah, sure, it's nice to help out, but you have to be priority number one to yourself. You have to look after yourself. Then once you've sorted yourself out, then help others as well. Because you might put yourself in a difficult situation where you help out others and then you don't have money for yourself. So, you sometimes have to be a bit selfish. You have to look after yourself. Sure, help others, but take care of yourself first. Build up that emergency fund for 12 months, get out of debt, and then look after others and so forth. Right? So that's how I feel about this whole pet issue. I would not have it. I would not have a pet in your situation. Definitely not, because you haven't reached your financial goals yet, and now you want to add more expenses, and an unexpected expense cropped up, and then that really it devastated you. I can see it, even though it's in writing. You work hard for it, you want to save up that money, and then something came up and then you didn't even spend it on yourself. Subconsciously you're also probably thinking that I spent it on something else. So if I'm in this situation, I'm going to either sell the pet or I'm going to give it away to a family that really will look after it. That's what I would do. I know there are people watching this who love animals are going crazy at what I've just said, but you're going to give that animal, probably a better life, maybe maybe nobody could love it like you do, but until I sort my finances out, then I will, help myself, and I'm going to help the pet to provide the best life possible for it. But I'm just, emergency fund is for me. And once I've sorted myself out, then I could start looking after others. And then I'm going to enjoy having a pet more after I'm debt free and after I've got savings, because then if something does come up, I can handle it. And it's going to be an even bigger pleasure of owning a pet once I'm in that situation. So that's how I feel about it. Whatever you do, it's a great thing that you had the money for it. I actually wrote about this whole topic of pets and the expenses that you can incur in my book, From Homeless to Debtless with Savings. I'll put a link in the description below. And I wish you all the best.